Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with the most important question on Reddit. Am I the bunghole? Let's dive into what the question is today. Am I the bunghole for getting my uncle in trouble and causing him to lose money? I will hold all my comments until the end. I left my church recently, and my dad keeps sending church members to my house to save me. I can bet I already know what church this is, and I was supposed to hold my comments, but recently a pair of church volunteers came over to talk with me. They offered assistance with anything I might need, and I had them help around my farm while we talked. We talked about where they are from. They're volunteering for 2 years from out of the country. What they plan on doing when they get home, and how my life's going, and why I stopped believing. The next week, one of them called and said they weren't sure if they believed when they left the country. Said they weren't sure if they believed when they left the country, and after our talk, they realized they didn't believe and wanted to return home. The problem was that their volunteer coordinator was holding on to their important documents so they wouldn't get misplaced. And one of those things were his passport. The coordinator said he would only get it back after his 2 years were finished. He asked if I could get it back for him since the coordinator is my uncle. I spoke to my uncle, and he said he knew I was the one who corrupted him and basically told me to kick rocks. I told him I would call the police on him if he didn't get back the passport, and he said I didn't have the balls. So I called the police, and they redirected me to the Australian embassy. My uncle was fined quite a hefty amount and told him he had 3 days to return the passport, or they would start the process to charge him with human trafficking. Word got around his church, and now he's been released from his paid coordinator position. My family are saying I went too far and that I only did this because he resisted me maybe, and that they knew he would have given the volunteer his documents back. That he has too many physical problems to get another job, and I shouldn't have said anything. I'm starting to think maybe I did the wrong thing and should have tried other avenues before going straight to the police. Am I the bunghole? Okay, we're going to start this with a very wide disclaimer. Slavery is wrong in every single situation. Every single situation of slavery ever in the history of ever has been wrong, will be wrong, and forever is wrong. There is no circumstance in which slavery is okay. There is involuntary detainment due to criminal behavior, which I am okay with if it's a rehabilitatory and not punitive effort. That being said, your uncle was committing an act of slavery by keeping the documents from the person. Period. It's the same as if he was withholding funds so that they couldn't purchase a ticket even if they had their stuff. It is the same as if they had them physically under surveillance in a massage shop and not letting them go anywhere. It's the same situation. It is control of the movement of another human. That is slavery. He is telling this guy, okay, yeah, I'll give you your stuff back in 2 years after you finish working all of this free volunteer work that the church requires you to do as a show of your faith. And God forbid you should show any problem with that church. And I'm not going to name the church, but we can guess entirely what church it is because they're volunteering for 2 years from out of the country. There's only one church that really does that. I'm not going to call the name, but they have a series out now exposing a little bit of corruption. And while that is probably fictitious, it is absolutely some stuff that happens. And so, no, you were not the bunghole in this situation. Your uncle was acting as a slaver. As such, he should be treated as a slaver. I am a little bit upset that he is doing this, and they're gonna process him to charge with human trafficking. That should be what happens. Giving 3 days to me is a little bit excessive. It should have been an immediate return of the documents, or you will be charged with human trafficking. Period. This is your warning now. If you don't do this, if you do not comply now, immediately, then you get put in jail for human trafficking. And we will make an example out of you. Because that's what needs to happen. That needs to happen for people crossing the southern border without documentation. People that are being carried across and led across and brought by mules and things like that. That needs to happen to the people who are doing that too. Because slavery is wrong in every instance. I personally am not very happy about it happening over in one of the countries that was liberated liberated by one of our former presidents and Secretary of State who came and saw and they died. But there's actual slavery happening there too. Like, this is slavery in a different form, but it's still slavery. Slavery is wrong every time. There is no circumstance at all in which slavery is okay. And that's where I'm going to stand on that. I am perfectly fine with that. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a not too complicated topic. You're definitely not the bunghole in this situation. Your uncle is definitely the bunghole in this situation. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. If you like what I'm doing here, leave me a comment down below. If you don't like what I'm doing here, leave me a comment down below. I want you to know that I am praying for you every single day. Till next time, I love you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. This has been Pittstake. Peace.